All right, guys. I'm live again. I just decided to go live due to the simple fact that I have some time on my hands right now before I have to do other things. Um, but you see the title, and with this title, I just want to say that basically, this is what it has come down to. For modern women, the thing is they've been allowed to do it. You know, like they're allowed to do what they want. And I want to start with a hadith that the Prophet alayhi salatu salam said in regards to that, in regards to not having modesty or not having any kind of filters or having any kind of control or discernment, you know. Let me find it real quick. Just give me a second. Okay, the the hadith is as follows. It goes an Abi Masud Akbati Kala Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Mima Araka Nasu Min Kalam no Buwati Ida Lam Tash Tashtahi Fa'ah Fa'ahmash Shinta. And what that translates to is verily among the words people obtain from the prophets are this: if you feel no shame, do as you wish. And so when you see modern women today, I mean, that's pretty much what we see. I mean, they do what their whims and desires. You know what I mean? Um, and it's pretty sad. But us as men, we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do as we wish because, if we do as we wish, like if we decided to do as we wish, um, there would be consequences for doing as we wish. You know what I mean? Part of those consequences would probably be uh, part of those consequences would be um, self-destruction. Part of those consequences would be like just like we would end bad. It would end bad for us. So that I want to say basically that yes, Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone, Chad, Sibo, D-Lo, they do what they want, but we see the consequences, right? Um, we see it right front and center. But for us, we can't do it. If you have a purpose, if you have a vision, if you have a goal in mind, if you have an idea about how you want your life to be, if you have an idea of how you want your life to be designed, you can't do what you want to do, in essence, like when it comes to women and stuff like that. Walaikum salam rahmatullah barakatuhu. Now, there's a lot of videos, TikTok exposes everything. YouTube exposes pretty much everything. But before I get into those videos, I want to ground this on Islamic principles because one thing that like for one thing is that Islam is common sense. Like people don't realize it, but Islam is very much a common sense religion. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Um, you know, like say you have to relieve yourself, right? you're going to use water to literally wash your ass. Like that, that saying how they say, oh, I didn't wash my ass. We literally wash our asses. So, but to the non-Muslim, for some reason that like is baffling to them. And really it's common sense. It's like, okay, if you just lay the number 2, obviously you're going to want to wash the stuff off that came from that number 2. It's like common sense, right? Another common sense thing with in regards to like the fornication, like we can't do mass fornication due to the simple fact that not only is it'll be not healthy for us, but it wouldn't be healthy for society as we see. You know what I mean? Like that's why, like, I'm gonna go to something that some scholars said. Let me go ahead and find it. Okay. Now, granted, if I reference a scholar, it doesn't necessarily mean I follow this scholar, but his talking points are correct. Okay, let me find it real quick. Let me see what he's
Our
talking
Muslim
about.
brothers and sisters in Yemen are dying and in desperate need of your help. Worse than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, those who protect their private parts. And that means that they protect their private parts except in the confines of marriage, in lawful sexual relations. Because sexual relations outside of what God has permitted, it leads to لا تقربوا الزنا إنه كان فاحشة وساء سبيلا. Do not go near adultery or fornication. The Arabs have one word for it, zina.
And so, like, the thing is, and I'm not a scholar by any means, but when you think about it, like, I mean, yeah, zina feels good at the time and stuff like that, but when you look at like the implications and what happens, you see that it's like a complete shit show right now. Walaikum salam rahmatullah barakatuhu. When you look at the implications of zina, you see that it's a complete shit show, especially in the West. Okay, excuse my language, but you look at like, and unfortunately for us, like when it is easy, like to get it or something like that, sometimes we take it, and then it leads to, and most of the time, I hate to say it, but most of the time we take it from like anywhere we can get it. You know what I mean? And that in return leads to like some very, very bad things. And we see it right. We see it right front and center, right? And if anybody in the audience wants to come up, feel free to come up. I can share the link if you have something to say, or if you have something to contribute to this. You're more than welcome to come up. Okay, don't be a stranger. You know, um, you can come up, talk, kick the stuff, add your 2 cents, and we'll be good.
Because it's an obscenity, it's foul, it's a fahisha. Wasa'a sabila, and it takes you down a terrible way. And all you have to do is Google the statistics on STDs and on all the things that happen to people who transgress these hudud. Tilka hududullah fala ta'taduha. These are the hudud of God, so don't go beyond them, because the hudud are there to protect us. This is God's mercy towards us. It's not anything else. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's his mercy towards us. And so this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that they guard their private parts. إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. That's not blameworthy if it's rightful and lawful. فَمِنْ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. And those who go beyond that, they are the transgressors. They go adun. They have transgressed the limits. And those limits are not just moral limits, they're biological limits, and they will have repercussions.
Now, when he says biological limits, I'm about to show you something. I'm about to show you something that shows that it is by a lot of it is actually biologically disbalanced imbalancing. The monkeypox one is one of the things. That's true. Like the monkeypox pandemic or whatever you want to call it, that's one of the effects of it. Um there was another report that actually I picked up about like how in the UK, I think. Hold on. I think it was in the UK. Let me check. Let me see. Yeah, right here. I knew I read this. So it says rise in popularity of anal sex has led to health problems for women. So here's the thing. These women are so unhinged and because they do what they want to do, right? That anything goes for them. Like I hate to say it, but they're not innocent. They're not none of that. Okay. They're all unhinged. They'll the detractors will say, well, it's not all women. They'll use that talking point, but I would guarantee you it's a good like more than half of the women, you know. And then they'll say, oh, he's just an incel. Oh, he's gay because it relates to them. That's why they use those talking points, okay? Because they were triggered because they probably had an experience in the past and now that experience in the past they don't want that to be brought up. And so, unfortunately, you become the scapegoat for just providing evidence. Now, let's look at the biological um, um, things that come with the rise of anal sex. And we know in Islam, sodomy is forbidden. We know that. We know that sodomy is not permitted or anything like that. There is a minority opinion among the Shias that say that that is permitted, but that's just a minority opinion. So in women, I mean, basically, when you look at it, women in the UK and women in the United States are pretty much parallel to one another in terms of ways of thinking, in terms of everything like that. The only thing different is the accent, right? So it says women in the UK are suffering injuries and other health problems as a result of growing popularity of anal sex among straight couples. The consequences include incontinence and sexually transmitted infections, STIs, as well as pain and bleeding, because they have experienced bodily trauma while engaging in the practice. The doctors write in an article in the British Medical Journal. Tabitha Ghana, Leslie Hunt also argued that doctors' reluctance to discuss the risks associated with anal sex was leading to women becoming harmed by the practice and letting down a generation of women who are not aware of the potential problems. In the journal, they say anal intercourse is considered a risky sexual behavior because of its association with alcohol, drug use, and multiple sex partners. However, within popular culture, it has moved from the world of pornography to the mainstream media and TV shows, including Sex in the City and Fleabag, may have contributed to the trend to making seem racing and daring. Yeah, Sex in the City, man. Uh, that show destroyed a whole damn generation, and it took Keisha's with them too. You know, because you just had a group of women just riding the carousel. Basically, all that's that was the basis of the show. Basically, was a group of like women, quote unquote professional women, and all they did was ride the carousel all day. However, women who engage in anal sex are at greater risk from it than men. Increased rates of face, fake out incontinence and anal sphincter injury have been reported in women who have anal intercourse, the report said. Women are at higher risk of incontinence than men because of their different anatomy and effects of hormones. pregnancy, childbirth, and pelvic floor. So they're just letting you know now that women and men are not the same, and that genetically we're quite different. You know, I, I the last time I measured, I'm I'm basically, I guess, cutting even 5'11" and a half, 6 feet, basically. Last time I got my DMV picture and stuff like that, I did the thing and I was at like 6 feet. Um, my arm reach is about 74 inches. I haven't seen a woman who's built like me. I mean, like, I haven't seen a woman who has like my kind of like my bodily structure, you know. It goes on to say that women have less robust anal sphincters and lower anal canal pressures than men, and damage caused by anal penetration is therefore more consequential. The pain and bleeding uh, women report after anal sex is indicative of trauma, and risk may be increased if anal sex is coerced, they said. National Survey of Sexual Attitudes research undertaken in Britain has found that the proportion of 16 to 24-year-olds engaging in heterosexual anal intercourse has risen from 12.5 to 28.5 over recent decades. Similarly, in the US, 30 to 45% of both sexes have experienced it. It's no longer considered an extreme behavior, but increasingly portrayed as prized and pleasurable experience, wrote Hunt, a surgeon in Sheffield and Ghana, trainee colorectal surgeon in Yorkshire. Many doctors, though, especially GPs and hospital doctors, are reluctant to talk to women about the risks involved, partly because they do not want to see judgmental or homophobic, they add. So, the fact that they mention homophobic in this goes to show that, like, hey, it goes back to the Islamic principle, like, that I'm about to show, that hey, like, if you do this, you're kind of suspect, buddy. However, with such a high proportion of young women now having anal sex, failure to discuss it when they present with anoretical symptoms exposes women to misdiagnosis, futile treatments, and further harm arising from lack of medical advice, surgeons said. NIH patients' information about the risks of anal sex is incomplete because it only cites STIs and makes no mention of anal trauma, incontinence, or the psychological aftermath of the coordination young women report in relation to this activity. Health professionals' disinclination to discuss practice openly with patients may be failing a generation of young women who are unaware of the risk. Um, so this is pretty long. I'm gonna stop here on this, but um, now what I want to look at is the Islamic implication about like anal sex, you know. Real quick. Let me see. Let me see. Just look at it real quick. Okay, so let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Okay, so I'm looking at this and they're classifying like the rulings of the the anal sex, it seems like it looks like it is actually classified as like a homosexual act, because it actually says here, kill the one who has committed sodomy. um Now, let me see. Let me see. So basically it's saying, like, in the nutshell, it's kind of just saying we're in a different time where we can't do something like that. We're not living in a time where we could, like, apply that. You know what I mean? um Being in the West, right? um you know what I mean? But we can't carry out the, like, the punishments for those things, um but it doesn't mean you partake in those things. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You can't partake in those things, even if it's, like, unfortunately normal in this society, you know. But let me see something real quick. I want to see, there was one opinion. There was one opinion that I really wanted to look at, you know. Let me just see. I'm just going to type it in. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. My bad, I'm taking so long. It's just I want to. There was something that stood out to me. I'll look for it real quick, and then I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. All right, looks like I can't find it, but they basically led up to saying, like, like, it led up to basically saying that, like, if you do that, you're kind of like 9AY, even if it is with a woman, you know. I mean, it's just that's what it is, you know. And you'll be cursed. I mean, you see what's happening with these women. You see what's happening with these women that it, you see what's happening with these women now. Basically, because of the because of the anal sex. You see what the article I just read, because I mean, some Casper Karens will come, probably like deflect, probably get at me in the back channel trying to talk mess about it, how it's natural and how it's like basically something that's to do. But let's continue.
And one of the tragedies in American society, and I apologize for people that, because I know we've had people from all over listening to this, but in the American context, but this applies everywhere. One of the tragedies is this loss of a sense of chastity and the importance of a female guarding the virtue of chastity, because the great virtue of a woman is chastity. This is not sexist. It's not to say this. There's nothing.
Okay, so when he says that too, that's when the body count comes into question. Like, I kid you not, I kid you not. I was at the gym the other day. Okay, I was at the gym the other day. I had to do my strength and conditioning with my strength and conditioning coach. For whatever reason, this one woman was being nosy. I guess she was being nosy because she probably seen some exercises that look unusual, but that work on certain things. She was being um she was being nosy, but the moment she came over there, me and my coach got a whiff of something that smelled like some sardines and tomato sauce. I damn near dropped the weight on my foot when I smelled it, and my coach kind of had to like be like, yo, are you okay? So then we moved areas. We're like, I said, yeah, bro. I said, just put me over somewhere else. You know, like I'm like, yo, let me just go. Let me just go somewhere else. I'm like, yeah, let me. Uh, Jawad, the problem is, they say, don't ask about. You're not in any right to ask what a woman's past is and stuff like that. But if her pH balance is off, then what? You're gonna have complications in the marriage that you didn't cause, that her past caused, and then that opens the door for polygamy, which the majority of them are against. So no, you have every right to ask that, especially if you want kids. So ask away. If they talk about body count, ask away. It does smell. It does smell, bro. And Melanie King, no disrespect to her, but she's a chameleon as well, who had plastic surgery. I knew she wasn't for us. I knew it. I knew it was just basically a disguise. But let's listen.
Nothing wrong with saying this, because a woman is far more susceptible to venereal diseases than a man is, just because of the nature of the epithelial lining. And this is why the STDs amongst women are much higher. They don't tell them that. And it's a crime to these poor girls that think that they can be promiscuous and go about and do these things like some men do and not suffer the same consequences. No, it's much worse. It's worse for them. And it's bad for men. And chastity is a virtue for men as well as women.
So I want to show something else too. I want to show something else too about the like what produces what, like this basically with. I'm not in. I want to classify. I want to say something too. I'm not trying to get people to convert to Islam. You're going to believe in what you want to believe. You know, I'm just basing certain things on Islam because it aligns with what's going on right now. That's the whole thing. Like if it didn't align with what's going on right now, then I wouldn't do it. Jawad, believe it or not, Jawad, the new thing is with these hotep, slow tap, no tap uh uh communities. The new thing is that basically it's a sacred energy exchange and it doesn't matter if you're married or not. That's what the new thing is. But you can have as many partners as you want. But it's a sacred energy exchange, you know, despite probably having so many partners, basically. There's one 304 in the conscious community. Uh um they actually went through a whole slew of dudes and you know that they're having problems down there, you know, they're having problems in that area, you know. But let's look at this because this is true, and then I'll get to some videos. I'll get into some videos to show that that it, I'll get into some videos to show um why women just pretty much do what they want to do, and while us as men we can't fall for the bait, we can't go along with it.
And one of the things the Prophet ﷺ said, if a culture, if fornication becomes prevalent in a culture, then prepare yourselves for the wrath of Allah.
Unfortunately, you know, I don't want to curse kids or anything like that. I'm not into cursing kids because, you know, God has a plan for them. He could, you know, he could maybe make that kid come out of an unfavorable situation and be a phoenix, you know. Um, so Pookie, Ray Ray, Sibo, D-Loke, Chad, um, Peaches, Nene, Shaquisha, Javante, all of these, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but they're actually the wrath of Allah. Because you see what happens with them when they're just let loose. You know what I mean? You see it happen with even a rapper right now, Blueface, and his girlfriend. You know, you see how crazy they are with one another, and they come from the same backdrop. Most of the time, Keisha and to a lesser extent Casper Karen, they'll say, "Oh, we just need healing, this, that, and the other." They'll use those talking points, but it comes down to more than healing. It comes down to a man which you don't like, and I dare to say this, and I'm taking these words from the Belarus president. Alhamdulillah, but you know, Allah actually Allah actually have mercy on you, because if the punishment was here, at least it's not going to be in the hereafter. You know what I'm saying? So Allah actually, I wouldn't say it was punishment. I would say it was a mercy. You know, Allah have mercy on you. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call it a punishment at all. You know, it's a mercy, you know, because it could have been like the other way around, that he's doing with a lot of these women, you know, and doing and what they're doing. You know, he's delaying their punishment until, you know what I mean, till they reach the other side. Um, but I want to go into something that was told to me by one of my colleagues who happens to be Belarusian, you know, and when I went to think when when I go to think about it, right? It when I go to um I'm gonna actually show you a polygamous man right now too. I'll show you something that I found that actually shows a polygamous man in Chechnya, and you can tell he's still a man. I'm gonna go ahead and show you these things in a moment. But what I was saying is that there's actually, and hopefully YouTube doesn't flag my page, or none of these Casper Karens or the hyenas flag my page, or none of these chimpanzees flag my page. But um, I was talking to a Belarusian colleague. Um, yeah, bro. It's crazy. And I want to, and since you bring up that point, um, I'm gonna just go to this real quick. He's a well-known scholar, Abdul Qadir Jilani, Rahmatullah alayh. Um, let's see what happened with him. This proves your point too. This proves your point. This actually proves your point, brother. What I'm about to show you actually proves your point. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. This is going to actually prove your point. Let me see. Give me a second, brother. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This goes to prove your point, okay? This goes to prove your point about the polygamy thing. I'm about to prove your point, okay? One of the scholars, right? One of the scholars, Rahmatullah alayh, his name is Abdul Qadir Jilani. Um, okay. Now, Abdul Qadir Jilani, for whatever reason, Jawad, whatever reason, I guess he was studying, I guess he was doing something. He was just studying, maybe teaching. He had a lot of murids and things like that. He was training up to be pious and things like that. He decided to get married around 50 years old, to just follow the sunnah of the Prophet, alayhi salatu salam. He had 4 wives, Sayyidina Bibi Madina, Bibi Sadika, Bibi Mumina, and Bibi Mabuba. His wives had great regards for him, and there was mutual understanding among them. In spite of being busy at the Jama and prayer, Hazrat Abdul Qadir Jilani used to devote time to his family. His house was adjacent to his Jamia, wherein all his 4 wives resided in separate rooms. He had about 49 children. Out of them were 27 sons and 22 daughters. He was a loving husband, and he was an affectionate father, and he gave personal attention to his children. So you see how, the West will tell you, oh, polygamy is such a bad thing and stuff like that. Now, granted, we're not on the level of Abdul Qadir Jilani, but the man was 50 years old when he married 4 women, and out of those 4 women, he had 49 kids. It goes back to your point that even at 50, he was still producing testosterone. even at the age of 50 or even after the age of 50. You know what I mean? May Allah have mercy on Abdul Qadir Jilani, by the way. He has a lot of good works. But let's go back to this.
You see, and the wrath is in those children because they're filled with rage. And look at we've now reaching 50% in this country. Children born out of wedlock, we're reaching 50% or past. And look at all the crimes. Look at all the violence. There's rage. If you go into the prisons in this country and ask these men, they don't have fathers. They didn't have fathers. They don't even know who their fathers were. That is oppression. That's unjust. You can't do that to a human being. They have the right to know who their father is.
Now, I want to say something about that, you know, and I'm not trying to like be disrespectful or anything like that because it happens in all communities. It's including happening in Casper Karen's community as well. You know, in Casper Karen's community is happening even. But I want to say that most of the time, they're not even forcing monogamy anymore, brother. They're not even forcing do you know, brother? They're not even forcing normal marriage. They're not even forcing normal marriage anymore. Really. Like it's worse than that. They don't even force monogamy at this point. They want you to do everything but that. They want you to do everything but have a good family, have a big family. Nowadays in the West, you know? But anyhow, when you look at it, you know, unfortunately, when you look in like prison, especially in California, there's an uneven like proportion of black men there as well as Hispanic men there. And most of them have a common denominator. Single parent households. Because you have to understand something. If a Pookie is produced, right? Chances are his father was a Pookie. If Sibo is produced, chances are his father was a Sibo, right? So the thing is, the cycle just repeats itself over and over and over and over and over again. Whereas Keisha, bro, there's nothing wrong with multiple women at all. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you something right now. Since we're on the subject, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. There's nothing wrong with multiple women, man. See if I can find it though. Hold on. My friend, right here. This man married 3.
Can I? Baby?
There's nothing wrong with it, man. Don't let the West tell you that there's something wrong with it, bro. Inshallah, by the grace and mercy of Allah, I'm marrying a woman from my tribe, but I'm also either marrying a Central Asian woman or, you know, by the grace and mercy of Allah, I'm marrying a Muslim woman from the Caucasus Mountain region. Like I'll have 2. Like I'll have one African one and then I'll have another one. You know, that way I can have the best of both worlds. Yeah, like to be honest, like for me, I'm cold turk. I'm cold turk on Muslim women in this country even. You know what I mean? I went cold turk on them even. I don't even bother to even look for them, right? So you know, inshallah. Yeah, I want variety. Yeah, that's the thing. I want like an African one, you know, and then I want, because I don't know, it's just something about those Central Asian women that I like. You know, I don't know what it is, but the added bonus is that they're Muslim. You know, it's a majority Muslim area. So if I get a Uzbek or a Turkmen or something like that, then I'll be good. You know, or Turkmenistani or whatever. You know, because those women are very attractive, very feminine, and yeah. But let's look at this though.
And so Islam came to preserve that right through the prohibition of fornication and through the guidelines of Sharia in proper marriage. And this is why Islam recognized any marriage outside of Islam. If two people become Muslim, they do not have to renew a marital contract. Islam recognizes marriages of other deens. You see, it doesn't, it's as long as it is a marriage that is recognized by the custom of a people, but two people living together with no responsibilities, Islam rejects that.
And I tell brothers all the time, like, yo, bro, don't move in with a woman. Never do that shit, bro. And never let a woman move in with you. Okay? If you, I mean, the lesser evil would be to let a woman move in with you because you can kick her out. But if you move in with a woman, bro, you're in quicksand. You're at a handicap. There's nothing you can really do. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of like you're in a bad situation, you know? Somali, Afghan, Bosnian, and Asian, that's pretty good. That's a good combination. You know, me, I'm open. So if I wouldn't marry an African woman from my sector, I would be open to a Eritrean one, you know, like a Eritrean woman, Eritrean Muslim woman, right? And just probably the Central Asian, you know, or the woman from the Caucasus Mountains, be it Chechnya, Dagestani, or English. English, it doesn't matter, you know, one or the other.
Completely. And people forget that in 1968, it was major news in this country that a woman on the East Coast was kicked out of her university because she was living in sin. 1968, kicked out of a university because she was living in sin. People forget how quickly morals have changed in this culture. There was an article in News and World Report about fornication, premarital sex. And what they were saying was even conservatives won't condemn adult consensual premarital sex. They'll condemn teenage sex, but they will not condemn consenting adults, because everybody's doing it, the article said. Well, why should the teenagers not do it if that's their example? You see, why? And everything in this culture is saying have fun, enjoy yourself. The media is showing it, promoting fornication. Most of the television sitcoms and the films, they don't have relationships. Marriages are usually dull and boring.
I'm about to show you something like that. Okay, let me find that, bro. Let me find that. Let me find that lecture. Let me find that, inshallah. After this video, I'll look for it and then we can break that down too. But what I'm saying is that for the modern woman, and this includes the modern Western Muslim woman, a guy who, like, for example, I work in IT. I'm working in IT. Working in IT or doing a job like that, being an accountant, being just say being someone who works like in aircraft maintenance, being someone who maybe works on like designing different type of cars, being someone who's like a custom car designer who has their own business, this is looked at as boring. if you're not quote unquote a hip hop star, if you're not quote unquote like living the fast life, then they don't want you, in essence, you know. In fact, they consider it boring. You know, they consider like they consider like having a routine life and having a life with peace and tranquility. These Western women are so far gone that like being normal to them is not normal at all. You know what I mean? So this is why like marriage is considered boring. But even after the cock carousel ride, marriage is still boring, but they're just ensuring that, hey, you know, let me get my insurance with this beta chimpanzee. You know what I mean? That's how it's working.
On television. Uninteresting. It's soap operas. What's exciting is illicit relations. Really? This is what they're seeing, and this is what they're being conditioned to believe.
Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find that video that you were talking about. Yeah, they love chaos, bro. They don't like just like normal like functions, you know. They don't like normal things, you know. Yeah, you know, I just use him as a reference point. You know, I just use him as a reference point. Listen, I don't listen to Hamza Yusuf's lectures. You know, I don't listen to his lectures. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I mean, he's Muslim, and he just brought upon some valid points. So I just used it as a reference point because he had the points that I made. And I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean I follow him or anything like that. Nah. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I found it. Let's look at it. Let's break it down.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. It's me, Rosh Mohammed Salih, the editor of Five Pillars, and we're here at Kabul Education University today. And the reason why we're here is to interview some Afghan women. I've been in this country for over 2 weeks now, and I must admit I find it quite hard to interview Afghan women. It's a deeply conservative society. I've been trying to arrange the interview, and alhamdulillah, today I succeeded. So we're here to interview some students at this university, and we're going to ask them about their feelings about the new Islamic Afghanistan and their place as women in the new Afghanistan. A few months ago, there's been a massive change in Afghanistan. We've moved from a secular government to an Islamic government. What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, as we all know that former government of Afghanistan was one of the most corrupt governments in the world, and their international partners.
Okay, to be honest with you too, the West put that government in power, just to let you know. Just to let you know about Afghanistan, the West basically put Hamid Karzai in power, and he just did all types of stuff. You know what I mean? It was very corrupted. He was no good. But that's just a little backstory.
Were also committing crimes and on daily basis, as we all see that through media. And majority of Afghans were taken as hostage by notorious warlords. And we all were expecting a systemic change as the only way out. And now that we see that the power has been taken over by the Taliban, majority of Afghans, including me, think and feel that everything is going to change for the good. And we see that the social status is being restored, and the foundation for a just government is laid.
How will your life as a woman change now that we have a new Islamic Afghanistan?
یکی مقایسه زندگی زن است در مقایسه با نظام‌های گذشته.
In the previous administration, women were harassed in some ministries. We even heard some reports of female harassment in the presidential palace.
This is what happens when you bring this is what happens when you bring Western ideas into traditional societies, you know, and they do this shit on purpose. And that's why I have to push the line to getting the sound not to let this shit happen, you know, especially with these transgender shits that they're trying to put over there, and this LGBT shit they're trying to put over there. I kid you not. Like I will fight that. I will fight that coming to my country until I have no breath. You know, I'll fight that shit coming to my country until we have no breath left. It'll be a cold day in hell before I see someone in Bafata, someone in Medina Day Boe, someone in Bissau, the capital, walking around saying as a man, but born a woman, or vice versa. You know, these sickos. Yeah, Western democracy and especially liberals are the sickest people in the world.
In some public ministries, but not all of them, if a woman applied for a job, she had to do some actions that are against Islamic values. For example, they were asking for sex in exchange for government jobs, but Muslim women couldn't accept that proposal, and this kind of thing just put women off applying for jobs. Under the Islamic Emirates, we're looking for the implementation of Islamic law, which will allow women to work in public jobs or private businesses according to the law of Islam. We ask the authorities to let women do their higher education, and we are sure that women will be active in all jobs, just like men under the Taliban. A major challenge for women in the previous administration was the women who advocated for women were not elected by the women of Afghanistan themselves, but by Western powers. These women.
So you see the thing. Yeah, the leftists are even worse, bro. Like I hate, like as a matter of fact, I dislike the leftists a lot too, because they talk about like they actually support Ukraine. They're supporting a damn Nazi government, okay, that's been killing their people since 2014. Ask a leftist how he feels about what's going on in Ukraine, and he'll be supporting Ukraine like a kook. And the clip that we just watched, and Jazakallah Khair for you bringing this clip to my attention, shows that the West was even trying to implement feminism into that traditional society, you know, by those women elected officials.
And did not act according to Islamic or Afghan values, and their ideas about life were not the same as most Afghan women. They had no respect for the family or their husbands. They were.
You smell something? It smells like feminism. I also smell something like sexual liberation too.
Were prejudiced against men. And most of us believe these women did not advocate for the rights of Afghan women properly.
Obviously, the West is focusing a lot on the issue of women's rights in Afghanistan. And they are saying that women are going to lose their rights. They won't have the right to work. Their lives will be restricted. What do you, as an Afghan woman yourself, what do you make of this?
Yeah, so I compiled a book about women's rights and their life situations in capitalism through history. And the capitalism has always abused women in the worst possible ways. And
Jawad, you know what? You're based for, bringing this to my attention, and this sister is based for standing on her square. And it would be interesting to know if that book is available, but chances are it tells me that it wouldn't be available here.
yet it is ironically that capitalist driven governments are expressing their concerns about women's rights in Afghanistan, yet they misuse this term for the past 20 consecutive years in Afghanistan. And the West does not allow Muslim women to choose for themselves, to speak and to decide. Well, I used to live in one of the Western countries for many years, and
So, the thing is too with this is that she could have easily got caught up in the Western conundrum, right? But she decided to go back, which goes to tell you what time it is. It's not really what the West is making it out to be.
I was discriminated against my hijab, my religion, and even my personal choices. We see that Muslim women in West, they are regarded as the second or third degree citizens, and they are thrown out of schools, universities, public places, just because of practicing their religion. It was one of my biggest dreams to have to live in an Islamic country, to live with the people that I shared similar rights and beliefs. And now that after a very long struggle and sacrifices that Islamic Emirate has taken over the power in Afghanistan, why they're so furious about it? Why they don't let us to embrace it, to be happy and live the way we want?
Because the West doesn't want you to live the way you want. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was talking to a Chechen friend who is in Ukraine busting them Nazis' asses right now. He said the war is not even about them. The war is about the West trying to implode their neoliberal LGBT life upon traditional societies. And so they don't want that. Okay, they don't want that, but Ukrainians want that. That's the thing. Like he even, I hate to say it, but my friend is a savage. Shout outs to him. As a matter of fact, he sent me some stuff because he thought I was like built for the truck to go. But what he said is that he was hiding in the bushes one time and he saw two Ukrainian soldiers, two men, making out with each other. So, to keep it PG-13, you know, he decided that it was appropriate to like hit them in the egg roll, you know. And I was like, oh man, you're pretty savage for that. You know, he's like, yes, this is what they want to push in the whole of Central Asia and in Eastern Europe. They started with Ukraine and they want to finish with they basically want to finish at like Iran. So you know, he tells me these stories all the time. You know, he told me a lot of the Ukrainians are coke sniffers and they play for the other team in terms of their you know, their XEX preference. So let's continue to listen to this sister.
هر کار خود کار از خود قوانین خاص خود داره.
I believe both men and women are capable of doing certain jobs. Men are good in jobs that need stamina, while women are good in jobs that need less physical abilities. According to Islam, women are allowed to do any jobs except those jobs which are against the nature of women.
Okay, so now let me read something that I have in a book that was given to me about Gaddafi. Let me find that book real quick because it goes to her point. This book goes to her point, what she was talking about. Let me find it. Let me find it. Okay. Let me find this real quick. Okay. So what he said, what Gaddafi said about women, you know, he said, although there are biological differences between men and women, there is a role for each to play, matching their differences. He is concerned, for instance, that to dispense with the natural role of a woman in maternity, i.e., nurseries replacing mothers, is a start in dispensing with the human society and transforming it into a biological society with an artificial way of life. That's why we see a lot of these masculine ass women out here right now, you know, because they damn near think they're men. That's the problem. Any attempt. Exactly. They still sound like women. Exactly. They still sound like women. Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you, brother. It's been a cool minute since I've heard a woman in the West that actually sounds like a woman. You know, if I close my eyes, I would think I was talking to Wesley Snipes or something, hearing these women talk. It's just, I'm just being honest with you. I'm being honest. Okay. So Gaddafi goes on and he says, it is unjust and cruel to ask a pregnant woman or a breastfeeding mother to perform hard work. It is unnatural to transform, and these are Gaddafi's words. These are Gaddafi's words, okay? This is another reason why they had him killed. But I mean, that's another video in itself. You know, I can break down that whole thing. But that may be for another time, inshallah. But it is unjust and cruel to ask a pregnant woman or a breastfeeding mother to perform hard work. It is unnatural to transform women into men because all must perform, not abandon the role for which they are created. His starting point of these views is a belief that women are exploited and oppressed in most present-day societies, whether advanced or developing. he went on to say that, you know, a lot of societies look at women as a article of merchandise, OnlyFans today, you know. The East regards her as a commodity for buying and selling, which probably is true back in the day. And also, and I'm going to end on this note, the West does not recognize her femininity. That's why we have these women who sound like damn, you know, yeah. And then, you know, you know what's crazy about this too, brother? One woman who did have a deep voice, she said, "Oh, that's because you guys don't like it because you guys lack testosterone." That's what she said. Crazy.
For instance, when a mother has children, she must avoid working night shift jobs, as this will not allow her to do her duties as a mother, which will affect the upbringing of her children. Or pregnant women should not operate heavy machinery, which could be harmful to both herself and her baby. Otherwise, I think women have truly equal rights as men. They have the right to actively participate in our society, but according to Islamic law.
Let's talk about Islam and specifically what rights Islam gives to women, perhaps rights that the West doesn't give to women.
Yeah. So in Islam, raising a daughter is more rewarded and honored than raising a boy. It is believed that in Islam, the paradise is beneath the feet of mother, and the men are questioned against their attitude towards their wives and their families. Well, there is a narration from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he says that the best of the best of people among you is the one who is best with their wife and their families. In Islam, women are given the right to study, to work, to have their opinion on political structure, and to have their highest social status. And so these are the rights that the Islam has been preaching and advocating for the past 400 years for the woman. And on the other hand, we see that in West, the women were only given the right to vote almost 100 years ago, and a little before that, they were not even considered as humans. I think one of the reasons that the Taliban are under attack by the West is their political and ideological differences with the West. And well, with the dark history of the West, we Afghan women, we Muslim women cannot accept the West as our advocates. And we see that the Taliban, the Islamic Emirates of Taliban, slowly but firmly pacing towards making a better environment for the women in terms of education, work, and social welfare.
How do you see the future of Afghanistan?
We are looking forward to the future optimistically, as the Taliban have sovereignty over the whole country, whereas the previous administration weren't capable of controlling the whole nation. We call on the world to recognize the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan and help us overcome Afghanistan's economic issues.
One thing I want to do is ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless Afghanistan. Afghanistan is sitting on I want to say a lot of mineral wealth. You know, Afghanistan is sitting on a lot of mineral wealth. After I've watched this video, it's kind of compelled me to maybe get an Afghan wife, because I know a Gambian brother who actually recommended it to me, and he's like, you may want to look there, because he's married to an Afghan woman, and you know, he he actually like just kind of like he kind of teared up a little bit at me because I mean, despite his Dawa efforts, I already told him before, you're not going to reach Keisha, bro. Like, I know your intention is in the right place, but it's just that when like Jinn and Shaitan have like a clear grip on them, it's like hard. It's hard to find the good fight. You know what I mean? Now, I want to show you one of my training partners, wife. Um, uh, mm, I want to go into someone else's wife that would be considered a pick me. Yeah, that needs to be stamped out, by the way. If they do have that, you know, they need to stamp that out. That needs to be, they need to rectify that situation, you know, if they have insults. Because because other people in Central Asia dislike them. Yeah. Yeah, they need to cut that out. Yeah, they need to cut that out. Okay, let me see. So some questions were asked to this and I happen to have worked with him before. He's a very good brother. He's not a Muslim brother, but he comes from a majority Muslim country called Kyrgyzstan. And basically they were asking his wife some questions, and unfortunately she would be considered a pick me in the West for her responses. But you know, you have to ask yourself, like, why wouldn't you want a wife like this? So someone asked you, some idiot asked, do you feel outnumbered that there's 3 boys in the family and you're the only girl? She responds, I feel special, and it was my dream to have 2 sons. Okay. Number 2, do you let your kids watch Bibble's fights? Of course, his fights are the most beautiful things in the world. How did you and the champ meet? Airport in 2007, same flight from Petersburg to Sochi. We were both 16. So she was in it even before the fame happened. Why didn't you come to the US for the fight? My husband doesn't want me to attend his fights. This is the law for me, his will. But I am a big boxing fan and visiting US several times. Have visited US several times. So you see that she even obeys with she conforms to her husband's law and has no problem with it. And this last one almost brought me to tears. Who is your favorite boxer aside from your husband? In my life, there is nothing aside. Another or else. The one and only. When she wrote that, I damn near like cried. I damn near cried. Yeah, those Aryans, especially in India, they kind of like well, one thing I want to say about those Aryans is they kind of like did the whole Indian subcontinent in, you know, as sad as it sounds, but yeah, they like the Aryans kind of just did the whole subcontinent in with their ideology, especially the fact that they had a damn caste system that they implemented, you know, and that's no excuse at all, you know. It's no excuse whatsoever. But what I want to show, what I want to show is back to the topic at hand, that modern women are allowed to do what they want, but us as men, we can't do what we want because it could provide worse consequences. Now I don't know if you remember her, but I found this clip. And unfortunately, a chimpanzee pandered to her. But let me get the clip. Okay. So there was that black. So here, let me show you one Keisha who's trying to do what she wants to do. She's at a fast food place, right? And she's trying to pay with Monopoly money. Let's look. I guess the hunger was real at that point, right? You have to use Monopoly money to try to get some fast food. Oh shit. Yo. If they say I bash black women, bro, they embarrass themselves. They embarrass themselves, bro. Like, I'm not bashing them, I'm just showing them. How is that bashing if I'm just showing their behaviors? Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me see. Oh, let's look at this one. Doing what you want to do. Let's break this down real quick.
No, you guys know who works for because I have chlamydia now. I
Oh.
bought these and I work.
Wait a minute. Listen closely.
No, you guys know who works for because I have chlamydia now. I bought these and I wore these. Last night I was with my boyfriend and now I have chlamydia. And my boyfriend, he does not cheat on me. My boyfriend doesn't lie to me, so I know my boyfriend didn't give me chlamydia. I have been faithfully buying from this shop for 10 years. And now I'm burning and scratching, and you think that's funny? I'm scratching, okay. You work here. I bought these recently, right? Like, I wore these, or I'll be more than another.
Pookie surely has a way with words. Pookie surely has a way with words because Sibo is probably telling her, baby, you're the only one. You know, I only go raw on you. And that's not the case. Wow. Let's continue listening.
Right? I have chlamydia now. And I'm upset with this store, this shop. Because you guys, I've been buying from here. And now I'm scratching and stuff. Yes. Because I was with my boyfriend last night, but I don't think he don't cheat on me. He doesn't lie to me. So I really want to believe that it's you guys that make me burn.
Well, what the boyfriend is probably doing is he may be like he may be using her for like resources and stuff like that, but he may be knocking down like because she's clearly like a I hate to say it, but she's clearly like a 4 or a 3. So he's probably knocking down like a 7 or an 8. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, he may not be wrapping it up. You know? Yeah. But let's continue listening.
It has to be you guys, right? No? You think my boyfriend did this?
I don't
No.
know. Like, I don't know, baby.
So why am I think it's y'all. I want to say it's y'all. I think it's
No, I don't
y'all.
think so. Because we never had any of these issues before. Like, we never had any of these issues. Like, I don't remember something like that. So we never had any of these issues.
I have a question for you guys. You remember that show, Dragon Ball Z? And they used to wear the little things on their you remember they had those little things on their like eyes that would read like that would read their power level, you know? Yeah, bro, I was a young buck though. I was like young as shit. I remember I was young as shit though. Yeah, the scouter. Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think I should make a patent for like a scouter that will automatically read a woman's pH level based on their like based on like just like thermal readings basically, and then you can just put it on and it'll be like a thought detector. It'll be like d d d d d d d d d d d d d, and you're like, oh shit, her pH level is uneven. Yeah, bro, I'm thinking about doing that. I think the technology is out there, bro. You know what? I think the technology is out there, bro, and I think I am compelled to develop a patent. I don't want to give my personal life away, but like yesterday I built a computer. You know what I mean? I built a computer for this gaming nerdy guy. So I'm thinking to myself, what if I can come up with something like that that will read a pH, like read a woman's pH balance? Like, it would be like for example, like it wouldn't like necessarily zoom into that area of their anatomy, but it would be it would be like like it would be going crazy. Yeah, but I don't need to worry about that because, as I said before, bro, I'm cold turkey on all of these women out here. As a matter of fact, like I'm of the belief, and I know this is gonna sound very harsh, I'm of the belief that most of these women have gin on them. You know, that's just my belief. You know, that's just my belief. I'm of the personal belief that most of these women have gin. But you remember our therapist? Let's see how she's doing.
Hey guys. Firstly, I want to say thank you guys so much for the overwhelming support in all of this.
You know the unfortunate thing about this whole thing? Oh my God. You know what's sad about this? You have Brad. Look at what damn Brad wrote. Brad Chimpanzee Beta Cuckozoid. Look at what he wrote. How can we support you? I second everything that you are saying. Heart emoji. Big Bro Bear. Replying to Big Bro Bear. Oh, God. the sad thing about the gender war is we not only have to deal with these women, but we have to deal with the ops who work for these women. But let's listen to how Miss I did 8 years of study is doing.
But I want to just like hit a couple points really quick to just like help you guys understand better what's going on. So long story short, I posted some stuff on Monday, was literally fired on Friday, telling people to go to therapy. And a lot of people got upset and attempted to hurt me, but I want you guys to understand that you didn't just hurt me. Yeah, I may have lost my employment, but all of the clients that I've had that I've spent 2, 3, 4, 5 years with establishing therapeutic rapport now no longer have a therapist. The people that I was serving have very severe mental disorders.
Keep in mind those keep in mind that those those clients, she was getting her back blown out by them too. Don't let that slip. Don't let that slip, you know. Don't let that slip that some of her clients were blowing her back out as well. That's what I mean by hopefully she kept her number and she can still get, you know, what she was getting before. But let's continue.
Severe abandonment issues. Some of them don't even have parents. Some of them have just recently come down, and I was helping them process cancer diagnoses. So while you guys did...
Now, listen. I want you to listen to something. This woman said she's educated for 8 years, but yet she doesn't even know how to pronounce diagnosis. This woman just said diagnoses. Bro, all their voices are deep, bro. I kid you not. Like, all their voices are deep. You know? All their voices are deep. She was hitting them though, for sure. That's why she's crying.
This shit for clicks and views. My clients lost a support system. I've worked with these people for years and now they don't have anyone. I don't know what I would do if my therapist was just axed immediately with no warning. So a lot of you guys who have reported me to my employer, whatever, have done irreparable damage, and I need you to sit with that.
We're sitting with it, man. We're sitting comfortably with it. You know, there's this song called, like, I forgot the name, but my buddy, he's a Muslim. If you're out there, Unc, I love you, Ab Lagva, for the sake of Allah. But he has a song that is basically about sitting comfortably. And, you know, I can say that we're sitting comfortably looking good right now. But let's continue.
The doxing has not stopped. I had to change my phone number because someone, under the guise of wanting to protect me, tried to ambush me in a YouTube live. And it's terrifying. As a woman, getting random text messages, that shit's fucking terrifying.
Wait a minute. I thought you were strong and independent. And you guys don't need protection. Wait, am I missing something?
So not only do my boundaries continuously keep being violated, my clients, their treatment has stopped. This comment says, how can we support? I've been putting out mental health content for about 1.5 years and haven't received a fucking dime because your guys' healing is so much more fucking important to me.
More important than her healing, which she's obviously hasn't gotten over. Judging by how you know, saggy her, you know, pancakes are, I'm pretty sure that like Tyrone and Sibo and D-Lo had a blast with her. And the fact that she's trying to hide her stomach, yeah, you know, she didn't work on her own healing, huh?
If you feel like giving, here's my fucking Cash App.
Do anybody want to give her anything? Since we're the same dusty black men that are not hardworking and productive citizens. Anybody want to give to her Cash App now? Yeah. Yeah, you want, since she's strong, independent, and tired of dusty black men, anybody want to give to her right now? Let me know. I'll keep the Cash App out. Now she's pandering. Was going in on black men, but now is pandering at black men.
But honestly, how you can support is never shutting the fuck up. It's true allyship. True allyship stands up in the face of fucking adversity. If somebody is being sprayed by the fucking water hose, ask yourself on what part of the scenario are you at? Are you the one being attacked? Are you the one being sprayed? Are you the one spraying the person upholding these supremacy ideas? Are you the one standing on the sidewalk lines looking at people get sprayed? Are you the one telling the person to turn the fucking hose off? That's how y'all can support. This does not just affect me. Think about your choices, guys. This shit's fucking ridiculous. You can support by supporting the unprotected.
Wait, I thought you don't need protection though. Yeah, I thought you didn't need protection. I thought you guys were strong, independent, and we ain't shit. And to answer her questions, I'm the one spraying the water hose, by the way. Now I need to maybe come out with a patent for like thought detector 1000 or something like that. But yeah, I'm the one spraying the water hose, you know. Definitely the one spraying the water hose. Especially if we have to deal with Keisha's, Casper Karen's, licentious Linglings, Malbogia Maria's. That's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand. It's not just damn Keisha. It's all of the women who were brought up in the West. It's not just Keisha. It's all of them. They're all the same. You know. As soon as Casper Karen and her ways get a hold of them, it's a wrap. But let's look at something else. Another, I'm showing another masculine ass woman. It's sad to say, but most of these women are masculine, bro. Most of them are masculine. Okay, let's see. Okay. Where is that video at? Okay, here it is right here.
What I wish men knew is that we don't always want to be strong. As much as as much as we do things with grace,
do things with grace. Do things with grace. We're gonna move. We're gonna bookmark that comment, and we're gonna see if they do things with grace or not. But let's continue.
and efficiency, we don't always want to.
Yeah.
Some days we wake up and we just want someone to have it figured out for us too.
So we want help.
We want help. We want help. We want assistance.
Okay, so what they're saying to you is that they want help, they want assistance, but they don't want to be cooperative when you give them that help and assistance, because they didn't even mention, like, they really didn't mention even like being like cooperative or anything in regards to that. You know what I mean? So the thing is that, like, when they say that they want help and things like that, that's literally all they mean. Like, they want an ATM machine, they want a handyman, they want a mechanic, but they don't want a man, they don't want a husband, you know? Because unfortunately, if you're in a marriage with a Keisha or a Casper Karen, she's going to leverage sex for sure. Go and fix the car and then maybe I'll give you some. Buy me this and maybe I'll give you some. Like, they dangle it over your head. And in Islamic teachings, we know what time it is with that. We know exactly what time it is with that. But let's continue.
I could definitely say that for me. I feel like a lot rests on my shoulders. I always say that even sometimes toning it down and not even making myself look like I just got everything under control. It's not even an act. It's just, yo, chill. Like, you get what I'm saying? I always put a lot of pressure on myself because a lot of people lean on me, depend on me in so many areas of life. That I almost sometimes feel like I don't have a choice but to be strong. But I feel like sometimes when you do that, you put people in a position to make you look like you just got it.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting any help from here. Neither are any of your other minions. You know, definitely won't be getting any help from here. You know, strong, independent, I don't need no man. This, that, and the other. Won't be getting help from here. No. Sad that they just, like, they pretty much just dig themselves into a hole. So shout outs to these next videos I'm about to show, these next clips. This is courtesy of Chista Zed. This is yeah, they gracefully practice bullshit. Exactly. And since you said that, brother, let's just play that clip real quick.
Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro. Rowdy like 410.
Yeah, they need to stop the cap. But let's see what happens when a woman does what she wants to do. So Chista Zed said she's for the globe. She's not for the streets. Let's listen.
So you want to get into cybersecurity and you think you need this? Wrong. Let me show you a new way to get it.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pot. My name is Chista Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman gets caught cheating, but you won't believe what she did to get revenge of getting caught cheating. Yeah.
Okay, so listen closely, okay? She gets caught cheating. So since it's I guess she figures it's the man's fault that she got caught cheating. Let's listen to how she takes it out on the man for getting caught cheating.
No, we're wasting time. Let's get it.
I don't really put my business out there, but dude, caught a cheating on me, right? So apparently, when the female becomes the bad guy, they really become the bad guy.
Mm.
Just trash my shit.
Mm.
Like, what the? I mean, come on.
Mm.
This is little fucking kid shit.
Mm.
Oh my god.
So it turns out that this guy caught his chick cheating on him, and she went and trashed his spot for getting caught cheating, because I'm assuming he broke up with her because he caught her cheating. It makes sense. There are a lot of women out here who react in this way, right? You're forcing accountability on them by leaving them, and they just can't drink that coffee.
Keep in mind when she cheats on you, too. Keep in mind when she cheats on you, instead of just leaving you, right? Because you probably provide resources to her. Instead of just leaving you, what she does is she blames you for cheating. She's like, oh, you didn't give me this. Oh, you didn't give me time. Oh, you didn't give me the energy I wanted. Oh, you didn't give me the security. Oh, you're Leo and I'm a Gemini, and so we don't mesh. Things like that. Rather than just like saying, you know what, not gonna work. I don't really want to hurt you, so let's just call it off now. No, but the guy she's cheating on, of course, is he's usually most of the time not doing anything that you're probably doing in the relationship. He doesn't have to, according to her.
Put that coffee down.
As always, when you share something this crazy online, the internet reacts. Let's check out some of these comments. Our first comment here says, please tell me you called the cops and got your money back. The laughing emojis. Next comment says, please send this to her parents and everyone she knows. Peter Griffin here says, then all their friends be like, period, girl, know your worth.
I hate that word too. I despise that word. When they say period, like when city girls say period, I hate when they say that, bro. Like I hate that with a passion. When they do that, when they say period, like I hate when they say that, bro. I hate that shit. Let's continue.
Nah. Oh man,
Like my coffee, like I like my women.
next comment says, I bet she still didn't touch the dishes. LMA. Oh, underrated comment. We know she didn't touch the dishes. Man, she doesn't drink coffee.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
Next comment, time to press charges ASAP, fast, not slow. What do you guys think? What would you guys do if you were the man in this situation? Moving on, this next video was captioned, the best Buffalo Wild Wings employee. I must warn you guys, this chick belongs to the...
Now let's see how many Buffalo soldiers that this Buffalo Wild Wings employee took. Let's see.
Earth. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Like I said, I'm from a military town, right? So Rangers and all these handsome military men would come in, and me being the young Southern little Alabama girl working at Buffalo Wild Wings, I loved them. They all would come in Buffalo Wild Wings. One would stay after, I'd start talking to them, and I would like, let me finish sweeping and finish doing what I need to do, go sit in the booth. And afterwards to have sex, like in my car. They would wait for me, like sit in the booth, and they would wait, and I would like do my little section, I'd sweep, and I'd go.
Someone the other day actually came to me because unfortunately they recognized my voice from and mind you, my channel is quite small. My channel is hella small. You know what I mean? This is just a humble channel. But someone came to me the other day and they said, oh, I think I heard your voice somewhere. And you're wrong, because you just have to go to different places for women. And one of the places they say is they always say the South. They always say, oh, go down south, go down south. It's no different. They're all the same everywhere in the United States. They just have slightly different accents, but they're all the same. And we're about to see that right now. Let's listen.
Go out and then we'd like have sex in the back of the car and then they'd leave.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Amazing
It should be
service.
an actual ad for Buffalo Wild Wings. This would like
Yeah.
that would like
They
make
would
people
wait.
go to
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
I would love it. And then I would be friends with all the
So she says two things to dissect. Two things to dissect. One, the woman encouraging her, right? One is the woman encouraging her and actually saying, "Oh, you guys should make an ad of that." That would be awesome. You know, you hear her actually making like saying that would be cool. You know, having an ad. You know, that's thing number one. Well, you know, let's be honest at this point, brother. Her box probably looks like a pastrami sandwich at this point, bro. You know, like, because she even said it would be fun. You know, she said it was fun, right? Now listen.
all the Rangers. I'd be friends with them. We'd talk. Like I'd come, and then they would be like, "Jeannie, a new shipment of Rangers are coming in," and I'd be like, "My boys, y'all got me."
Nobody supports the troops harder than Jeannie.
Yeah, honestly.
Write that down.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. A lot of, and I hate to say it, but the U.S. military is soft. Like, I even like told a guy this, like, because I was like, man, you're soft, and I'm the cement. I'm like, you are very soft. I'm the cement, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like, there's this one guy I know who served in the military, and this dude let his wife take him for everything. This dude let his wife pretty much emasculate him. And I'm like, yo, like, and you served in the military? Like, what the hell? Like, and I don't want to give out too much information, but my friend who's busting their asses in Ukraine, he said, hey, you know, you want to join me? You want to join me? And I said, nah, man, I really can't. I really can't join you because, like, if my country's government found out and they got wind of it, then like it would come back on my country, you know, my country of origin, and wouldn't be a good look. But I said, you know, if given the chance, I would be overjoyed to bust some Nazi LGBT cucks heads. Because I would be doing God's work, literally. You know, there would be a reward for me in that, you know. So let's continue with her.
Jesus Christ. Stay in your daughter's lives, gentlemen. As always, this got the internet's attention. I'm just going to read a couple of comments here. This first comment says, honestly, at least she's not pretending she's not a thought. So tired of the acting. That's a good point. She is.
I mean, that's true. I mean, she's admitting it that she's like a flip, you know, at least she's admitting it.
Being honest. Next comment says, I applaud her patriotism. Funny. Next, she doesn't say that she charges money, though. I don't think she did. Next comment.
Yeah, she didn't charge no money.
But I hope them troops stay strapped, if you know what I mean. Curious to know what you guys thought of this topic as.
So, again, you just show. So you just see that, like, you basically just see what's going on. You know what I mean? So let's look at let's visit Darius and see what Darius has to say if they didn't flag his video down. And let's listen to more modern women doing what they want to do.
Hi guys, just a daily reminder that I ain't never seen a man that I fucking need, bitch. You're all replaceable. Don't ever get too comfortable and don't ever think otherwise. You're a guest in this household and you can be kicked out just as quickly as you were welcomed in.
So with that being shown, how many of you guys in the chat think she's a shaitan in disguise? How many of you guys in the chat think that, like, if you were driving, maybe that you may be suspectable, like you may be like a victim of her maybe stabbing you out of nowhere? But let's see. Let's continue.
Women.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Nothing really besides do a one night stand and become pregnant 1 month later.
She belongs to the streets.
What happened to the baby?
He's at home with my mom right now.
You know how I know the bar is set so low for men?
So don't think it's like any different. Like, I hate to say it, but like some brothers, unfortunately, their talking points is like with Casper Karen, with Casper Karen, like, salute to you, John. Salute to you, John Public. All of them are the opposition. I hate to say it, brother, but about 99.9% of Western women are the opposition. I hate to say it, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Because the ones that small 1% are either taken or too shy to speak up because they know what would come afterward for them speaking up. But what I want to say is that there's this misconception that Casper Karen is more natural than Keisha, but that's not the case. You see the one I'm showing right now with her fake ass lashes. She does the exact same things, pounds of makeup, all of that. Not to mention the Casper Karens don't really have a skin routine, you know what I mean?
Because when you're hooking up with someone new for the first time and they pull out a condom, the first thing that pops into your mind is, oh my God, I think he respects me.
The bar I set for men is so low that when he texts me out of the blue so he can use me again, I get happy because he's choosing to use me again. Yeah! The bar I set for men is so low that when he offers to pay for my plan B, I think he's a gentleman. Yeah!
Imagine bringing one of these thotty whoppers back to your village or something like that. And then, like, maybe your parents or your relatives are not really hip to social media, but then they get wind of this video that she made. Then what will happen to you? Would your parents say, hey, hey, this is my boy? Or would they say, what the hell is this Negro thinking?
The bar I set for men is so low that when he told me he fucked his ex and his best friend, I said, thank you for being honest. Yeah!
The bar I set for men is so low that when he comes to pick me up for a date and he actually knocks on the door, I'm ready to propose.
Yeah!
The bar I set for men is so low that when he told me he didn't want to see me again, I was happy at least he didn't ghost me.
Yeah!
The bar I set for men is so low that when he picks me up before midnight, I think he's being wholesome.
Yeah!
So I want you to keep something in mind. Those last two women were probably Latin. They may have been Latin, but I want you to know something. Some people, like some black dudes, like, will say that Maria and Casper Karen and Ling Ling is a better option, right? But when Casper Karen gets their grip on them, they're not an option at all for you. And that's just the reality. That's just the reality. This includes the Arab woman who is raised in the States, and it also includes, unfortunately, the African woman who was raised in the States. Well, let's continue.
I already know they're gonna call me a pick me or whatever, but expecting somebody that makes the exact same amount as you do and has the exact same bills as you do to do.
Top of 10, because personality is everything, and I'm that bitch. Oh, you're beautiful. 10. 10.
Fusion.
Top of 10, because personality is everything, and I'm that bitch.
The unfortunate thing is people simp for these women, so all these women think they're 10, and they may be overweight, they may be basically, out of shape, tattoos, having a gut. They may have all of these things, but they think of themselves as like God's gift to they just took it to heart. And so so when a simp tells them that they're a 10, or when their girlfriend tells them that they're a 10, they actually start believing they're a 10.
Oh, you're beautiful. 10. 10.
Avail Car Sharing is a better way to rent a car. No lines, no hidden fees, and no hassles.
10. Right now, and 11. 10. 10. 10. 10.
I love my husband. I really, really do. Truly, I do. But when it comes to lust, I crave BBC.
Now, we can say that, we can applaud her for being honest, but unfortunately, this has played out in real life. But luckily, I didn't go near it. But there was a Casper Karen who actually had the same sentiments and actually was trying to solicit me to be that BBC that her husband wasn't providing. Now, granted, her husband would have let it go to make her be happy. But the fact of the matter is that I was more disgusted at the fact that this is commonplace with Casper Karen. And so I declined, and I just said, if he doesn't have BBC, then get him a implant or something like that, But, what can you do? But let's continue.
You gotta dig her fucking guts out till she motherfucking busts.
If we're to compare the two, I mean, my husband, he's a little shorter, not really more so my type. At the end of the day, my husband, he did.
So she's even admitting that she's not sexually attracted to her husband. So I'm going to speak in hypotheticals. He comes from a long day's work. He probably wants some sex. She dangles sex over his head and says, okay, do this, do that, do that, do that. And then the sex that he gets is like starfish sex. But the BBC that she desires will get the mind-blowing sex. Sad world we live in, man. Sad, sad, sad world.
He did win. I'll give him that. But I've come to realize going throughout life that a woman needs a beta male simp provider in her life.
She's even telling you. She's telling you. She is actually telling you what these women do. She's actually giving you the blueprint about what these women do. She said that a woman needs a beta Caucasoid provider, but needing and actually desiring is two completely different things. That's the thing.
When I see an alpha, it's different energy. It's almost you can't shy away from it. It's alarming, starstriking. I can't even use words. Simp patty cakes, alpha daddy rakes. Take it as you will.
Wow. Doesn't mean it's better. This is what's happening.
I'm a whore.
That's it? That's the complete, that's it?
That's it.
Just a heads up too. If you see a woman with a lot of tattoos and shit like that, she's a whore as well. Just to let you know. You see her like with a sleeve of tattoos, shit like that, she's a flip. You know what I mean? She's a flip as well. So just keep that in mind when you see her with a lot of tattoos.
So, scrolling on TikTok this morning, honey, it seemed like every other video is a man saying he tired of y'all bitches, he getting his passport ready, and he going to another country so he can get him a woman.
Not to show off, but not to show off again, but you know, for the detractors, you know. For the detractors, like for the detractors, I'm basically like I should say I'm basically one like or yeah, I'm actually 2 flights away from wherever I need to be to get whatever it is I need to get in terms of a woman. And that's going to happen very soon. And it's going to be documented on this channel, as a matter of fact, when I do touch down where it is I'm touching down at. Now, if you ask about my headdress, this actually came from a Dagestani sister who said, you know what, I want to sing you this. And so I've been wearing it for a minute now. It's actually the Khabib headdress that he wears. So I'd like to wear it, you know, because it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? So if anybody asks, you know, I'm wearing this for that. It's not a wig. It's actually a hat that like a lot of the people over there wear.
I told y'all bitches when I was in Jamaica last week, honey, every other couple was a black man with a different race of woman, Spanish, Asian, white, girl. Honey, please, y'all better focus on the right shit. Y'all better start taking care of your man, because honey, they are leaving and leaving y'all asses in the dirt. Y'all keep focusing on these wigs and these BBLs and all this other goddamn bullshit.
The thing is when they say BBLs and stuff like that, for the price that they pay for BBLs, what a black man will do is he'll just use that money and he'll just go to Brazil, which will, the ticket will probably cost less than the BBL, and he'll get one that doesn't even have the BBL, you know, and it's common sense to do at this time.
Instead of focusing on taking care of your man and making sure he's pleased and happy.
We never forget to mention how awful men treat women nowadays, but how about women treating men like shit? We never talk about how men...
You chameleon, shut up. You probably were one that treated men like shit too. Now let's listen to this brother and what he has to say.
She's 23 years old. You know, as I'm back.
woman like she is everything to you.
So I met this chick last Friday, right? She's 23
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the
years old. You know, as I'm vetting her, I was like, how many bodies you got, right? So she says, when I turned 18, I got on Tinder and caught 45.
45 bodies. Salute. But 45 bodies when she turned 18. So it's like basically it was one of those things where basically she just couldn't wait to enter the rap race until she turned legal. That's what it became. That's crazy. 18, 40.
Now that's not in a year. She didn't specify a year, a summer, a week, months, none of that. Just I caught 45 at 18, bro. So like I don't know. But the funny thing about it though is that like she's now in the epiphany phase where she realizes that shit's not the move. But I told her like, yo, it might be too late, you know? And
might be too late. It is too late. It was too late after 10. After 10, it's already too late. You know?
Man. Y'all be safe out here, my brothers.
I was just trying to film my.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, these women do whatever they want to do, man. Shit. These women do whatever they want to do. They do whatever they want to do, man. Okay, let's see.
Just like to clarify that I'm single by choice. I could easily get anyone I wanted.
Gentlemen, any takers? Any takers? Since she said she can get anybody she wants while she looks possessed in the eyes. I guess I'll play this. Real quick. Maybe I need to add some sound effects. Maybe I need to add some sound effects to my to my page when I need to do sounds. Let me see. Any takers, guys? I'll take that as a no. Let's listen to her story.
No, I love it. I actually prefer being single. I feel like a reborn virgin.
Oh! Feel like a reborn virgin. Shit. How many bodies does she have?
Whatever happened to the generation of men that asked women out on dates
don't text here, but they come to the door and they knock.
Those men, I appreciate you, Sir Anthony. The intention of me doing what I do, the thing is, there's well-known narrations that talk about enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. And I can't let this evil spread worldwide. That's the thing. And there's a well-known narration that says, if you can't change it with your hands, change it with your voice. If you can't change it with your voice, change it with your heart and prayer. So I'm just doing my part in this because I was dragged into this by, unfortunately, these evil women that have caused evil to those close to me and those not so close to me, but still have like maybe 3 degrees of separation from me. So I have to do this work. It's not about wanting to do the work. It's about having to do this work. So the guys that she explained, she overlooked though. Like she didn't want those guys. That's what happened to them, by the way.
And then they plan the place that you go to dinner, not to a bar for drinks. They plan the dinner. And then after the dinner, they take you home and drop you off.
What happened to the women that don't need filters to beautify themselves? It's obvious she has a filter right now. You can tell, like, that shit is a filter.
Instead of asking you to come in or inviting you back to their place. Whatever happened to going on a second date rather than never hearing from each other? When did that stop? That's what I've learned. Is that even a thing anymore?
Not for you. It's not a thing for you. Sorry. It's not a thing for you. It's all good though. You'll be all right.
Whatever happened to women being feminine? Whatever happened to women getting married in their 20s? Whatever happened to women being focused on family first, not on their careers? Whatever happened to women being fit, friendly, and submissive? Yeah, guys, they all want men to be chivalrous, to be gentlemen, to be traditional men. But they are no longer traditional women. Welcome back, guys, to a new episode of Women Hitting the Wall. And if you are new to my channel and enjoy my content, a sub would be really appreciated.
So dating nowadays is really difficult. I find it's more difficult now than it's ever been. And I look back and I think, hey, 10 years ago, if a guy liked me, he would come pick me up. We would go for a walk. He would hold my hand. We'd go get ice cream. And it was, I like you, you like me. We would kiss. And
God, this woman is like lightweight, kind of cringy. Oh shit. Damn. She lightweight is like cringy. The way she describes things is like kind of cringe. That shit is kind of scary.
it was like, let's date.
Yes, ma'am, but 10 years ago you were in your 20s. Now you are 35 and you have a kid.
And that was it. It was like literally that easy. And then I'm your girlfriend, you're my boyfriend, and we're just together. And that was it. And now it's dating apps and baggage and people who are working through stuff. And it's difficult, especially when you start to get to that kind of like 30s, 40s category. And what I'm finding is, which I would love to know if other people are experiencing this, is the too nice category. So obviously by our age, you have been through some stuff. Marriages, splits, selling houses.
Read her like an open book, guys. That's what she did. That's what she's been through, and that's what she put men through. Don't think you're exempt from going through the same thing as those men in the past. Women who get older and are on the dating market, they demand more, actually. You know, they actually want more things. They actually want more resources, more benefits, and things like that, because they think you're supposed to take care of everything, including the kids that came along with it. And let's continue.
All sorts of stuff. I feel like a lot of men are going through some, hard emotional baggage. Marry the bartender from Moxie's, have 2 kids. She takes half of what you have. It's a hard thing to work through. And then I come along and then I get you're so nice.
She's actually talking about herself too, though, by the way. She was that bartender, by the way, just to let you know. Don't let it fool you. When these women give you these when they give you these biographies, they're just talking about themselves, not talking about anybody else. Don't let it fool you.
So sweet.
If a guy that goes through divorce and loses half his stuff, maybe also his kids, and talks to you on dating apps and says you're too sweet and nice, he's clearly a simp, and he didn't learn anything from his marriage. I understand the dating world is very tough in 2022, but ma'am, you can't complain about dating apps when you make TikTok videos.
I don't want to hurt you. And I feel like if I was a smidge more crazy, I would have been married 10 years ago.
All right, keywords. If I was a smidge more crazy. So she's not saying that she's not crazy, but she's saying that maybe if she was a more psychotic than she already is, and that she already looks, then it would be different. It would be different for her.
Which is confusing because people say, I want the nice girl, but do you? Do you really? So I'd love to know your opinion as a guy and as a girl who's dating in this crazy world. How do you not get placed in that category? Because this seems to keep happening to me, and I would love to know, obviously I don't want to up the crazy, but
if you know how to read hieroglyphs, this could be of assistance to you when it comes to deciphering women's speech. What she's telling us in the nutshell is that she gets her back blown out by Chad, and then Chad will just say, "Oh, you know what? You're very nice, so I don't want to end up hurting you. So I'm just gonna keep it moving and keep it pushing. I don't want you to break your heart. I'm not trying to commit to a relationship. So I would rather prefer to keep it moving than actually commit to you. So with that being said, she's like, how do you not get placed in that category? Well, I mean, you may have to stop letting Chad blow your back out to not be placed in that category,
I also don't want to keep getting this whole friended of you're so nice category. So drop in the comments below, how can I either avoid this, or what apps are people using to find said nice, normal healthy people.
Keep in mind too, when she says nice, normal, healthy people, she really wants a beta man, a beta chimpanzee provider that can, you know, take off the slack, pay for her habits. That's what she means by nice. Her herself, the fact that she calls herself nice and the fact that she says other people call her nice means that she's probably the opposite of that. You know, I'm pretty sure she's bitchy, combative, and shit like that. You know, don't let these women fool you. You know, like in the gender war, one thing these women like to do, I hate to say this, but a lot of these, and I don't want to even use this language, but at this point, like, you know, astaghfirullah al-din, astaghfirullah wa tubu ilayh, la ilaha illallah subhanaka inni min kuntu min dhalimin. But a lot of these bitches are shapeshifters, and what they'll do is they'll basically present one image to you on social media and things like that, but that image is completely different when it's off social media. You know, so I'm of the opinion, and we may need to do a show about that. You know, I may need to do a live about that whole thing. I may need to do a live about how women are shapeshifters. You know, as a matter of fact, tomorrow around this same time, I've been on for like 2 hours now. I think around like maybe 4 o'clock, 4:30 or 5 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, I am going to do a video on these shape-shifting bitches. You know, this just dawned on me right now. This just like went off in my head right now that these women are shape-shifters in the literal sense too, not just in the figurative sense, but in the literal sense.
For me, the first red flag is that she said in the video description that she's a single mom, but she's never been married. If you were that nice and sweet, believe me, you would have been married first and then had a kid, and you wouldn't be single at 35. I don't know what kind of man you are talking to, but believe me, men in general do want nice and sweet. We don't want crazy. We want peace.
Oh, dating in your 30s. Is anybody doing that successfully? I'm curious. If so, drop a comment. Let me know. I'm single. I have a home. I have a career. I got my dogs. I got good friends, good family. But I've had this awful situationship. I've been in an awful situationship for a little over a year and a half. This guy is like just devastated, humiliated me 4 times.
Translation. I'm attracted to Chad, but I need a beta male to take off some of the slack of my house and my dogs. That's what that translates to. You know, I still want to keep Chad on the side, but no, I still want to keep like Chad, but I just need help right now, you know. Otherwise, she wouldn't have mentioned her house and her dogs and her cars if she didn't need help. And Chad doesn't have to help monetarily.
4 times too many. I had to literally get him out of my bed last night because I found out he is not only sleeping with me, but he's sleeping with his ex-girlfriend while also trying to get with his friend who's a lesbian. He's like trying to make like not a lesbian anymore. I don't know. I just don't understand it. It's just men these days. I tried the Hinge thing and met a great guy, but then he was still married. It was cheaper to keep her. So like, I have just a crippling fear.
Well, ma'am, maybe it's because you focus more on your career than the man in your life. Or maybe the fact that you have situationships at 35. Or maybe the fact that you keep attracting toxic guy after toxic guy. Maybe, just maybe, you are also toxic.
So there you have it, guys. You know, I'm going to like just shut it down. I got to get ready to do a couple of things right now. But I thank y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow I am going to do a video about shapeshifters because believe it or not, my email, like as soon as I wake up, it's crazy. As soon as I wake up, you know, my email is filled with clips of these different women doing these stupid things, you know. And so, yeah. But thank y'all for tuning in, and inshallah, see y'all tomorrow. If you want, I can drop the link tomorrow, and if you want to come up and contribute, because I'm pretty sure there's some brilliant minds in the audience, feel free to do so. You probably have some clips too, you know. But anyhow, Assalamu alaikum.